If you'd like to be able to listen to the show without ads and have full access to bonus content, that's an option. To find out how, please go to dogmanencounters.com/podcast. Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us for this continuation of Monday night's special show. If you listened to that show, you heard tonight's guest Adam come on and talk about all the dogman encounters he's experienced in Newfoundland. He's had quite a few, unfortunately. Well, on that show, we didn't have time for me to do a Q&A, and with that in mind, I asked him if he'd be willing to come back to do this live stream tonight. Luckily, being the great guy he is, he said yes, so here we are. And having said that, without any further ado, let's get Adam in here now. Adam, thanks so much for coming back.
Hi, Vic. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great night.
Well, we hope your night's going even better than ours is. So Thanks for the good words.
Yeah, it's going good.
Yeah, definitely. Adam, I know there are some people listening to tonight's show who missed that special show on Monday. And with that in mind, can you give us a brief overview of the dogman encounters you told us about on Monday?
Well, it started about 10 or 11 years ago. I have had 3 encounters with I actually seen the creature or whatever it is I did see. I've had like multiple experiences around my house, like window tapping and strange occurrences just happening around my house with that animal. But I've only seen it 3 times, like I said, in the past 10, 11 years, and the couple of times that I did see it were pretty freaky times. I seen him one time, and I only seen him like had a good look at it one time. But like here lately, I know I'm being followed here lately. So other than that, I haven't really seen it since out there, right? So I think it's a smaller one that's down around my area now. This time, when I was out in Gander, it was a bigger one. I seen it. It's all white, the one that I seen. That 3 different times. The second time I had an experience, I didn't see it. Like I was down prospecting, doing my thing, and the first time that I did see it was in the daytime, and the other 2 times were in the nighttime. So, my very first experience with seeing it, I didn't know anything of a dogman. I never heard of a dogman or anything like that until my second and third. Well, I started learning about it around my second and third experience. So I guess that's the gist of it. It's hard to explain it all without getting into detail, so it takes a while to explain it all.
Yeah, with as many experiences as you've had, it would take a while to really go through them. So yeah, you're right about that. For those people who missed that show, Adam, can you give us an overview, a brief bio on yourself to kind of fill them in?
I'm 34 years old. I'm a prospector from Newfoundland, Canada. We're an island province. I've done prospecting for the past since I'm roughly 22 or 23. So past little while, but I've been in the woods like since I've been 14, like in the woods, like any distance, but usually by myself. So I've moved all over the island. I've been multiple places. I'm good in nature. I like being in nature. I'm used to the animals. I'm used to the sounds, and I just love being in nature and doing my thing. That's just me, I guess. I got 2 kids. They're teenagers now. Blessed with good health and good friends. Other than that, other than what I'm experiencing, I'm pretty happy with life. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. just your average newbie.
Well, as long as you're happy with life, I mean, you're in a good place. It doesn't get much better than that. So that's great to hear. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please continue.
Oh no, I was just saying yes. That yeah, sure, right. Yeah, it's a good place to be. After after I was talking the last time, I was like where I haven't told anybody, well, other than you. I was in a bad state of mind, but ever since I got it out and like out in the open, I feel a lot better with myself, and like I'm starting to enjoy life a bit better again now, right?
Well, that's great. As long as you can say that, then yeah, you really are in a good place. I want to ask you about something, a current event here, Adam. Last night, after I got in from the woods after dark, I posted a post. I started a thread on my Facebook page, basically stating that I had just gotten in from walking over 3 miles in this big woods here where I live. And I was all alone, didn't have any guns, no weapons with me. I was just walking without anyone else with me in the woods. I've walked hundreds of miles through this woods, so it's not like it's a one-off type of deal. But when I made that post, I brought attention to the fact that I was trying to hammer home the fact that for all these dogman eyewitnesses I speak with and I have spoken with over the years, who I've told, okay, you can get your life back. If you head back into the woods when you're ready, baby steps, please don't rush it. But down the road, if there comes a day when you feel ready to head back into the woods, yeah, there is a possibility you might have another dogman encounter. But please keep in mind, and then I tell them about all the walks I go on and the time I try to spend in the woods if I have time to do it. But anyway, when I created that post last night, it was to hammer home the fact that, okay, I was putting myself out there. I was out there in the woods where I've done who knows how many times in a woods that's like a Hyatt Regency for dogmen and Sasquatch. I've even found a Sasquatch print in the woods there years ago. It's probably over 10 years ago. But my main point was I was putting myself out there mainly to have a good time, not to make myself vulnerable to these guys or anything. But if these guys were nearly as dangerous as so many people have made them out to be, I wouldn't have been able to go on all these walks unarmed without anyone else with me. I mean, last night, perfect example after dark, and it was dark as pitch out. It was spooky out, but I made it back home just fine. Well, what are your thoughts on that as far as you going back into the woods? Because I know you still do that. I know you still go on walks also when you have time. What are your thoughts on the actual danger that that puts you in when you do that?
Thinking on it like that way, Vic. It's all what you put yourself in. And like, I'm starting to realize from like listening to you and other people talking through your show that like if these things were out to get you, they have lots of chances, and they're like they're big enough and strong enough to do whatever. We like even if somebody was in the woods taking a walk, they had a fire, I don't think it would make a difference. I think being unarmed in the woods makes it better. Makes it better. If anything, if they do have any intelligence to them, they knows that you're on them, right? And they knows you're not going to hurt them, right? And like I was trying to tell you, I went prospecting out a good distance the other day for the first time in a long time, right? And I was out there for, geez, 6 or 7 hours and never heard nothing, never saw nothing. And I find the more like somebody thinks about something bad happened, the more like you put it into existence. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna go around thinking something bad is gonna happen, and it might happen. You know what I mean? But if you just go out in the woods for a walk and do your thing, just enjoy it. Just enjoy the time that you got in the woods, right? Like there's no point to going around being scared or nothing. Like there isn't. Like uh, life's too short. I had a couple of close people pass away recently, and I'm starting to realize like go enjoy the stuff that you like, and like don't let experiences like the experiences I had stop you from doing that.
I love the way you think. There is such a thing, of course, as being too soon for it to be too soon to head back into the woods after you've had a dogman encounter. I've said it time and time again, baby steps. If you have had a dogman encounter, don't rush back into the woods. Take your time, wait until you know you're ready to head back in. And when you do go back in, of course, baby steps, go in with other people, a large number of people. If you have to be armed to feel safe, then do that too. But baby steps, there's no rush to do it. But I'm a living testament to the fact that once you are up to going back into the woods, that this idea that all these dogmen out there are programmed, they're wired to rip you apart as soon as the opportunity presents itself, I'm living proof that's not the case. If you think about it, what more valuable chess piece on the board would there be than me putting myself out there in the woods? These guys, I'm sure they know who I am. I'm sure they know that, inside and out. So that would make me the queen on the chessboard. I'm putting myself out there, and what piece would you rather take off the board more than any other? The queen. Well, if these guys were so dangerous, like I said, I would not be here. So if you've had an encounter with the dogman and you're listening to tonight's show, what I'm talking about right now, that's basically a testament to what I've been trying to pass on to you about the danger that most of these guys actually pose. Again, I've said it time and again, there are deviant ones out there that are dangerous. They will harm you. They will kill you if they get a chance. But on the whole, these guys are not wired to be dangerous like that. That's what I'm getting at. Talking about walks here, Adam, from what I understand, and this is a shame, you decided to go for a walk this morning, and let's just say it turned out to be a little more eventful than you had planned. Please expand on that for us.
Well, I went to go for a walk on the path that I usually takes every morning, and now I don't know. I could just be overthinking it because I've been thinking about it a lot lately, like everything, and just down a big rabbit hole with it all. But I got stopped by people. They were in civilian clothes, not like no government or not, but usually like you see a sign for like a construction company name or something. But anyways, I was walking up the path, and there's two ladies in two different cars got out. One stopped me and told me I wasn't allowed on the path, and I said, okay, well, I walk the path every day. And, I walk around the excavators because, in down here we got small roads, and they don't block off a whole road just to do a little bit of, they tore apart my mom's front lawn there about a month ago, and they did not block off the road, and it took up most of the road. And I'm thinking to myself, you're not going to stop me from walking up the path because you're digging a hole. So I kept walking, and another lady popped out and she said, "You can't go up there, you can't go up there." And I'm just going up there, and can't remember exactly word for word now, but I was talking to the lady, and she didn't even know where the end of the path was, right? And here they are telling me stop and not go on the path, and they're digging holes and everything. Anyways, I walked up there, I walked past them all, and nothing was done up there, and there's just dudes around, and I don't know what they were doing. They're just dudes around. It's just weird to me. That's all. There's nothing. I don't know. It just could be. It's just strange.
Huh. Yeah, that is strange. Sure does make you wonder if maybe they listen to the show and that's why they were there. I guess we're never going to know. And that is the conceit on my part to think that they do listen to Dogman encounters. And that's why.
It's just strange. It's just something I just found weird.
That is strange. It does make you wonder. When I came out of the woods last night, there was a guy parked in a van next to where I parked the truck. And I might be reading more into it than was actually going on. But yeah, there was a guy in a white van had parked pretty close to where I parked my truck. And I'm not sure if he was trying to act like he wasn't monitoring me or what. He might have been, he might not have been. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but after I started walking up and I got fairly close to the truck, he went ahead and pulled off and just headed down the road.
Yeah,
so, maybe there is something to that. Maybe there wasn't, but yeah, no one else around. Just I'd park the truck and here's this guy sitting in this white van, just acting
The,
like maybe he wasn't trying to monitor me. I don't know. Maybe it was just a fluke thing, but
the human element is always the most scary element.
that's right. Yeah, it definitely is. Adam, before you had that first encounter you told us about on last Monday's show, that was about 10 years ago. How receptive do you think you would have been to someone telling you about an encounter that they had had with the Dogman?
I like if somebody told me that if somebody told me they've seen a giant wolf in Newfoundland, I wouldn't believe them, right? Like I would like my process, like that process would go to like we're on an island, and if there were giant wolves around, we would see them. You know what I mean? But like clearly after the fact, I know the difference now. But like um. I probably wouldn't believe because, like, you know, I'm the type of person that, you know, got to see it to believe it type of thing. And like, um, I don't believe there's any, like, because I haven't seen, I'm not saying there isn't. I don't think up until I see a Bigfoot here or something like that, or hear one or something, experience it. I wouldn't think there would be one here, but I didn't believe until I had the encounter. I wouldn't even have believed after I seen the first one because I didn't know it existed, right? You know what I mean? I would have just thought it was a big wolf.
Well, seeing is believing, and I can understand that whole idea that you'd have to see it to believe it. I mean, this is an extraordinary type of thing to be real. The idea that dogmen are actually out there, yeah, that's a bridge too far for most people, and understandably so. But like I said, seeing is believing, and yeah, you definitely saw more than one. You said that all you saw when you had that first encounter, Adam, was the dogman's head and tail. Are there any more details that you can give us about its tail and maybe how it held it?
When it was just it leaped, I can tell you like I could see that it was a wolf, like the shape of its head, like its head was bigger, like abnormally big for its body. Like when it jumped, its head it almost looked like its head was there was no neck, and it was just went into its body, and it was really scruffy looking. Like it was white, but it was scruffy but clean looking. Like it was like just like furry. And the tail was like when it leaped, it was just straight. Like I don't know if you ever seen an animal jump or something, or like something pounce on something, the tail straight. That's what it was. Just almost like the shape of a rainbow, right? That's the way the animal moved.
If you had to compare that tail to another animal, what animal would you say?
I would like locally. The only thing I compare it to is a fox.
Interesting. Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time I heard that comparison, that's pretty typical. It is.
Like I was doing thinking, like a lot of people compare, like say, like you know, it's these names, Dogman, but like where could like I was thinking, could it be like some form of like I don't know, raccoons got like almost human-like hands, right? And that's what I compare its hands to, like raccoons. And raccoons got big fluffy tails, and raccoon's face almost looks like a dog. I think so. Like being like the type of person I am, like trying to make sense of it science wise, like I guess it's the prospector in me. Like I've been thinking it might like possible like type of marsupial or something because they are like more nocturnal. I find so most active in the nighttime, I guess, but they're are in the daytime as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would expect to have encounters at night, if at all, but it seems like more encounters happen during the daylight hours than at night. So,
Yes.
just one more thing about these guys, it's really hard to wrap your head around. It really is. You told us that it was all white. Do you have any opinions on how an all white dog man could effectively stalk prey?
I don't, to be honest with you, and I don't know why it was white. Um, I was like trying to think back on what time, like year. I know it was sunny out, but I don't know if it was spring or summer, right? So like, could it change coats? Like I know our rabbits here go from white to brown or whatever. Like, could it do that? But like when I know for a fact when I seen it in Gander, it was summertime. I know that, and it was all white then. So trying to say it goes from white to brown is, doesn't make sense because I know I seen it once in the summertime and it was all white. And I don't know. I honestly don't know how it could be effective because, like I said, that when I seen them crawling, like it was funny. The only thing I compare it to was like uh, a big dog sitting on a person thinking that it's a little dog. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I could that's what made me laugh when I seen it at first, right? It didn't know that it was all white, right? And I don't know how it can affect like hunt. I just think it doesn't use any stealth. I don't, if it's white, I don't think it would use any stealth like hunting. I think it's big enough to just go do what it's doing. Like I said, I seen it chasing that moose, and that moose was bucking it, man. It was giving it everything it got, and that was the only option the moose had. And that thing is just get it, I guess. And I don't know. That's my opinion on it.
Now that we're talking about this is a great opportunity to make another point. When people hear that I go for these walks in the woods, deep into the woods, without anyone else with me, without a gun, that just really gets a lot of attention. You don't have a gun with you? Like it's the craziest thing. I want you guys to think about something for a minute here. Adam's talking about more than one sighting of a white dogman. And this white dogman is not starving, or when you saw it, it clearly was not starving. So think about it. If a white dog man, how tall did he say you think it was standing up on two legs?
Well, when I seen it in my backyard, I would say I'm 5'8". It had to be 7 or 8 feet tall, and it was thick. So it wasn't like just I heard descriptions of like skinny ones. This one's thick. You could tell it's eating well.
Wow. So 7 to 8 feet tall, and you could clearly tell that it was eating well.
Yeah.
Well, let's think about this for a second. If a 7 to 8 foot tall dog man that is obviously eating well can sneak up on moose and deer and enough game to comfortably feed itself, if it still can be that stealthy being all white, what chance do you have in detecting it if it wants to sneak up on you and take you out? It's not taking out the moose and the deer and whatever it preys upon with a gun. It has to be close enough to grab it and touch it. Well, think about the senses that those prey animals have compared to your senses. I don't care if you're a tracker, the best woodsman that there's ever been. Well, your senses don't hold a candle to a deer, a moose, whatever it predates on out there. So I don't care what gun you have in your hands or on your hip, whatever. If this thing wants to take you out, it can at will, whether you're armed or not. So taking a gun out there into dogman country with you, the only thing that accomplishes is making you feel better. That doesn't make it any easier for you to protect yourself unless that dogman wants to announce its presence to you. So it's not that crazy for me to head into the woods without a gun if I'm actually concerned about my safety when it comes to dogmen, which I'm not. I'm not concerned about my safety when it comes to dogmen because of what I know about them. That's why I still go on these walks without anyone else with me, without a gun, because of what I know about these guys. So please keep that in mind. All right, now I can get off my soapbox and move on to this next question for you, which is, when that window tapping started, Adam, the night of that first encounter, did it stress you or your girlfriend out most?
Her really, because she was startled at first, and like she right into like scary movies and stuff, and she's like right into paranormal stuff, and she thought it was ghost, and like up until like I put the two and two together, she had me convinced it was ghost. Like our house was haunted, and no matter where we moved, we still getting haunted. And yeah, she was like, I like a couple of times, like you're doing something random and like it'll tap and it'll scare you, right? Like for the most part, I never really found it scary. Like, she found it more like worse than I did. Like, and she like she hated it, to be honest with you.
Oh, I bet she did. Do you think that she left you because she really did feel that you were calling all this upon yourself somehow? That's the idea that you put out there for us on Monday. Do you really think that's why she left you, or do you think it might have been another reason?
Well, at the time there was all that stuff happening, and like all that happened in Gander, and like I was like, like I don't. I was trying to make it like go away or trying to fix the situation, and I was all enveloped in it. You'd say like, and I don't know. She just had enough of it, and she like. It's hard to explain. Um. She just like if you think something in it long enough, and you put your energy into enough, like puts things into existence type thing. And that's I think like what she was getting on with at the time, and at the time, like looking back at it now, it's for the better anyway. She had a little kid, and if this thing is around me all the time, and like you know, I better off, right? So it's hard, it's hard to talk about.
Oh, no, I understand. I shouldn't have even asked you about that. So, no, I
No,
apologize.
that's okay. No, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I bet it's not easy to talk about. I may say it's fine, but yeah, again, I apologize. I've got another question for you, Adam, and that is you told us about how you moved back home to help take care of your mom after the tapping started. Was the tapping part of the reason why you moved back with your mother, though?
No, no, it was actually no, it had nothing to do with it. Actually, I wanted to just come back. Well, my mom's sick, obviously, so I just wanted to come back home, and I didn't really like the area, and there was not much around, and like didn't really know anybody, and it was the same distance to go, like say get your groceries from both, like from here to town. From here where I am now to town from that area, so it was no difference. The only difference was I was closer, and like instead of having to drive up, I can just walk up. You know what I mean? That's basically the only reason we left here.
I see. Well, speaking of distance, you just mentioned it. How far was your mom's house from your house in Torbay?
Um, a 45-minute drive, hour, depending on the traffic lights. I mean, I think it was like an hour or something. My dad used to joke all the time, saying, "Oh, you need to bring a tent to go visit Adam."
Wow, about 45 minutes then. If that's the case, if it was that far, how would you explain the fact that the window tapper followed you that distance?
um, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Like it followed me to Gander as well. Like, and that's 5 hours away. So I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, at Saint, I guess. I don't know. I put it, but I wouldn't be able to tell you. The only thing I can tell you, this week actually, I've been, I would, I'd noticing when I go for my walks, like areas of grass and stuff, like big areas, like 5, 6 feet wide circles and stuff, bed down in grass that, like, I walk past every day, and it's not bed down. So I did kind of like an experiment, I would say. Every day this week, there's only about probably 10 different roads down here altogether. So like one day I'd go and walk a new road that I don't usually walk on. And then the next day I would go back to that road and re-walk it and like check if anything had followed me. Now every single road I did go on the not exactly where I was walking, but on the like say I'm side of the road I was walking in the ditch, and the opposite side of the ditch you would find like you can clearly tell something walking in along the same route that I would take. And the really creepy thing, like this happened, I did 3 times in a row, and every day I got the same result. But the creepy thing about it, every now and again, you would notice big, like I said, the big 5 and 6 foot round circles. and it's almost like something standing there. And when I stopped to like look at these, like, 'cause I thought they were weird, and I was looking, stopping and looking, and if you look hard enough through the woods, you're looking in like these spots are like looking directly back into people's houses. So like, I thought that was really creepy. So whatever's following me stops every now and again and looks into people's houses. That's what I got out of it, because like I said, the day before when I first walked it, there was nothing alongside, no grass bed down or nothing, and I'd go do it the next day the same route, and there'd be grass bed down. And that's like, how I know I'm getting followed. Like, not saying like follows me right after. I'm thinking in the nighttime. And my dog Blue, at this point, I know when he smells it, because like he sees a rabbit, he don't go after a rabbit or nothing like that. He will not. And like, he's just trained. He's a hunting dog by rights, but he don't hunt or not. He wouldn't hurt a fly type thing. But when he smells that, like, it must urinate on the ground or something. But when he gets on that smell, I has to haul him out of there, like literally haul him, like, or pick him up sometimes even, right? And I know he gets on that scent because he was doing like a circly thing he does when he gets on it, whenever he smells the smell, and he would do that in these spots. That I think that this thing is looking in people's backyards.
It really does make you wonder if he's tapping on other people's windows and looking in their windows at night, or what. Probably not. Probably zeroing in on just harassing you, but it's possible. It just might be doing that. And that brings me to the next question, Adam, which is, when you watched that one run up to the window and hit it that night, how close did it come to breaking that window?
Well, I thought it was going. I literally thought it was going to come through the window. Like, I don't know how it stopped itself. Like, it hit the window. It let the thud. It was like a loud thud, but it didn't break the window. Like, its nose, like there was steam left on the window when like it went away. Like, happened that quick. Like, we didn't even see it run off. Like, it's pretty black in my backyard when there's no lights. So we wouldn't even have seen it if it wasn't white. If it had been black, it would have just been a bang on our window type thing, right? But the only reason we seen it, I think, is because it was white. But we couldn't make sense of it because we couldn't see it go away. That's the thing, and we couldn't understand. We seen it hit it, come in and hit it and go. Like, it was almost like it had no body. It was almost just like a head. It was weird. I literally thought it was going to go through the window, and it did hit the window, and it made a thud. But it, like I said, its reflexes must be pretty good, because it didn't go through. As soon as it hit it, it's almost like when something goes to go in your eye and your eye blinks. That reaction, that's what I got from it, and he just went up. I definitely thought he was going to come through the window.
That's one of the weird things about these guys. Somehow, being as big and powerful as they are, they still have a knack for knowing how hard they can hit windows like that without breaking them, because tons of people have witnessed that happen. They've seen Dogman come up and they hit their window, and they would have sworn the window was going to break, but it didn't. So it just must go back to their ridiculous intelligence. That's the only thing I can think of to explain it. But you talk about unnerving. It's just not going to give you the warm and fuzzies. The next question I've got for you, Adam, is, when you and your girlfriend saw that white Dogman army crawling that night out by that house, by the corner of the house, do you think it might have been the same one that you saw when you had your first encounter?
I know. I know it is. It's near about, like, if I can relive that day, them 2 days together, and put them side by side, I know it's the same animal. I know it's the same animal, because what's the odds of it happening 3 times? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, most people never encounter an animal their whole life, and probably never will. You know what I mean? So I think I'm being followed by it, and I'm not sure why I'm being followed by it, but I know it's the same one, because the one that I seen that day jumped after the moose. He was same size, like same size as the moose, and like he was dog. Like, when I think of that and think of when he was crawling, it's the same animal, same size, right? And I know the one that I seen in my backyard walk through the bushes, and I only got the back view of him. is the same one because he was the same size when he stood up that night on the corner of that house.
See, that's the thing. I was sure from listening to all the things you said that you were convinced it was the same dog man, but tonight I heard you say a couple of things that made me start to wonder if you didn't think that was the case after all. So, yeah, that's why I asked that question.
No, I think there's the thing that my mom and them seen cat dog, she likes to call it. I think that's the one that's down here. I think there's two different ones, and I think the smaller black one, I think that might be a juvenile because the print that was left on my window, if it was the big white one, its hand would have been like almost the size of the window, right? This smaller one, I think it's curious, and where it did leave a print, I know that where I've been dealing with so long, it never left nothing like ever. So where this one, I'm thinking now, where this one could be a juvenile, it could be just like, not saying it's stunned or whatever, but it's learning and it messed up and it left something behind. You know what I'm saying? Because I know for a fact when I'm marking up that woods, if the thing that I saw, that big white one, was the one doing it, it'd be louder, way, way, way louder. And what I'm hearing up there now is like loud, but it's not like the size of that one loud. And I just think it's a juvenile one. Two different. I know there's two different ones because there's a black one and there's a white one. The white one's big, and the black one is smaller.
It left its calling card on the window. Some of the bigger ones can have hands big enough to cover a trash can lid. So, yeah, try to wrap your mind around that idea.
Yes, exactly. Because when he put his hand on the corner, man, his hand was huge, man. Like if I can like say it, like to try to visually represent it, like its hand, it looked like its hand could just like pick you up by the hips. That's how big his hand looked.
Yeah, that's pretty big. That's more than big enough. I've got one more question for you, Adam, before I start asking people's questions in the live chat. And this question is, before it stood up on two legs, talking about the dogman that was army crawling that you saw, was it knuckle walking or was it walking on the palms of its hands?
I couldn't be honest with you, Vic. Couldn't tell you what way it was. Like I can't tell the way his paws were, but his arms was like, I don't know. It was weird. You ever see the Exorcist movie where she like crawls? That's what it looked like. His arms were like bent inwards. It was, I don't know. I've never seen nothing move the way it was. Like the only thing I can explain it is the Exorcist movie. That's the way it looked like moving to me, but it was like, it wasn't slow. It was like fast movements. And the only reason I think he stood up on the corner of that house because what he was doing was beating him out or something. And I know he was fed up because when he stood up, he was panting. And it wasn't small or nothing. He was just panting like a dog or something would, right? But I don't know if he was using his knuckles or his claws. Well, I couldn't see it, right? But I know he was moving weird. I don't know if it was just the dark when I was seeing him in the dark, but he was like the way he moved. It wasn't like you put like each, like how I said it was like an army crawl, like one arm over the other. It wasn't like that. It was like crawling, but like I just compared it to an army crawl because he was down low trying to hide. But it was weird the way he was moving, Vic.
Yeah, sure sounds like it. It's not like he's not creepy enough by just being a dog man, plain and simple, but yeah, if he's moving like that, extra creepy in a really creepy way, yeah, that just takes it over the top. It really does. All right, Adam, I've got the first question for you from a listener in the live chat, and it's from Ian Conzal. And Ian wants to know, Adam, have your encounters changed your personality in any way?
It did. It opened. Yeah, for sure it has. It's opened my mind to things that I never really would have thought of. Like if somebody, like, I've never really had any paranormal experiences or anything like that. But if somebody came to me saying like, my house is haunted, dude, you'd tell me this big story, I'd be open to it because like up until I had this experience, I wasn't really open to none of that. But like now, witnessing what I witnessed and experiencing what I experienced, My mind's open to these things now. I'm not saying like open to everything now, like, but like personality wise, like I'm the same person now, but like uh don't act any different to like change my prospecting a little bit. But other than that, like if anything, it's kind of like widened my horizon in a way. I think I'm more open to the world. If that answers your question.
Yeah, I think that does a pretty good job of answering it. And I'm glad to hear that you're still the same Adam, just maybe a little modified, but maybe in a better way because it's opened up your mind even more,
Yes, same Adam, just more aware.
which is always a good thing. Andres Carrizales is the next one on deck. He wants to know were the taps random or in sets? 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, 3.
Uh, it wasn't always just 1, 2, 3s. It was most times it was 1, 2, 3, and then it like if you didn't get up, like it's weird because it'd go tap tap tap, and if you didn't get up to do it, like to look at the window, it'd start going tap 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 tap, and then you get up and look, and then it'd be on the opposite side of the window. It was never like it's hard to explain. It's always random. It's never the same thing.
Yeah, that's par for the course for the most part. They're not very easy to pattern, just like Sasquatch. So they don't make it easy at all for you to pattern them.
No,
They,
I think it's just messing with us more than anything.
yeah, I'd say it must have been. Ian Consol's got the next question, and Ian wants to know were they male and female, or could you tell? But from what Adam's saying, he thinks it was the same dogman the whole time.
The one that I think has to be the same one is definitely a male. Has to be because I don't know, unless like it just like the bulkiness of him. It just reminds me of like a male bodybuilder. That's what like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. Like I don't know. It could be a female. I've never seen no genitalia or nothing like that. But to me, I get the sense that it's a male.
If you didn't see any pronounced mammary glands, then yeah, it must have been a male. Because with the females, you normally do see that. Jerry Cahill has the next one, and Jerry wants to know, and this is a general question, so I'll take this one. And for everyone listening, please focus on asking Adam questions instead of just general questions, because the show isn't about me. This is about Adam here tonight. But Jerry's question is, do you think when you have one encounter, you're more apt to see more? And yeah, Jerry, it definitely does seem to be that way. It seems like that's the case, but with a qualification. Most of the eyewitnesses I've spoken with over the years, and there have been thousands of them, believe it or not, most of them have only had one encounter. It's the exception, not the rule, that if you have one dogman encounter, that you're going to have others. So, yeah, it does seem, while it does seem to be true that if you have one dogman encounter, that does predispose you to having other dogman encounters more so than just Joe Blow over here. The odds of this person who's never seen one having an encounter. But if you have one encounter, that's no guarantee that others are going to follow. Like I said, it's the exception, not the rule, for an eyewitness to have other encounters after the first one. Glenn Kamada has the next question, and Glenn wants to know, why do you think they tap? Is it an intimidation thing?
I think they're just trying to scare us. I think you get something out of like it's almost like from stories I'm after hearing and stuff. I think you get something out of scaring us. Like there's something in it for them. There's like has to be like whether like I don't know if it's like a spiritual thing or what it is, but like um they like they must get something out of it because I think it's just to scare you, right? Like um for the first while, like I noticed after a while and I stopped paying attention to it, it did kind of like slow down. So I'm guessing like they're noticing like, okay, I'm not scaring them as much anymore. So like, I don't, I think it's just to scare me really, to be honest with you.
Well, that's good you realize that because, yeah, more than likely, that's all it is. So, like I said, it's good you understand. The next one on deck is from Laney. And Laney wants to know, would you say dogmen or dogman has caused you mental issues, or you have more peace and knowledge of what's going on?
Um, it definitely affected me, my mental health for a while. Like, I was pretty bad. I was in a low place for a while until like, man, only probably recently this year, like started getting out more and doing things and like I've been I like been thinking like I should like if I had my time back I would have contacted you a long time ago because I feel a lot better about myself now, but like it did affect me. I had pretty bad depression from it because I mean I lost my girlfriend because of it. I mean lost like I had a good claim. I sold that off to move back home from Gander because I got scared out of the woods. But like I said, like Vic is trying to tell everybody, like I know myself now. I've been in the woods my whole life, and out of maybe the thousands of times I went into them woods, I've only had them couple of experiences, right? So I'm sure it's seen me before, and I'm sure it could have had me, but now I'm starting to realize, come back to myself again. I can do my own things, and now that I'm talking about the situation, I do feel better, and I'm starting to become myself, my normal self again. So I hope that answers it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good job of answering it. And Jerry, there's no need to apologize. You didn't know. So I just wanted to put that out there so everyone else knew about that. No problem. Liz M has the next question for you, Adam. She wants to know, do you get that gut feeling before anything?
Yes, I do. Every time I know, like I can walk up. Well, it doesn't happen. Like there's times I walk up the path and I don't experience nothing. I don't get a feeling. But usually every time I go on that path and I get the smell and hear the stuff, I always get a gut feeling, and I get goosebumps. Like my hair, my hair stand up on my arms, and it's almost like an anxious feeling. Like it's almost like yeah, once you get, especially once you get halfway, it gets really bad. Like yeah, the atmosphere gets so thick, it's almost like you can cut it with a knife. The only way I can explain it is like once it gets halfway and it gets really bad, it's like I gotta get out quick. I gotta get out quick. I gotta get out quick. I do feel it every single time I goes up there. I don't feel it home like I did first when I started getting the window tests, but I guess I got used to it.
It's hard to believe you could ever get used to something like that, but this has happened to you so often. I can understand why well, I guess I still can't understand why you got used to it, how you could, but yeah, I believe you when you say you did. Sergi Marquez has the next question, and Sergi wants to know, do you feel they're just animals, or could you sense a higher intelligence in them?
Well, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I do not think they're like they do have some sort of intelligence to them, but they're not like human level intelligence. Because they're not out building cars and stuff like that, big buildings and but they do know stuff that we do not know. Like they do things like from stories I'm after hearing, they do things that like when I think of something supernatural, the only way I can explain it is something we do not understand, right? So maybe they do stuff that one day we'll understand and it'll make sense. But I think they have to be physical because they break trees. They leave fingerprints like on my window. But there's something supernatural to them. They do know stuff that we don't know. It's the only way I can explain it.
Oh, that they do, and then some. Mbab M Baby Rocks, I'm sorry. M Baby Rocks is another question. Her question is, what do you think they eat in your area?
I would say moose. Not in my general. Well, in my general area, we had a lot of like small game around there, and there's nothing around there now. Nothing. There's no small animals. Well, last small animal I saw was, I think, the beginning of summer. It was a grouse, and I've seen it for like 2 days in the same spot, and then nothing. There's no. I've been up pretty a mile or two in the woods in like a couple of areas around Petty Harbor now this summer, and nothing. Never seen nothing. But I think in there eating a moose. Like my dad was telling me. Was talking to my dad the other day because he almost hit a moose in his car actually. He was saying, I could be wrong. I don't know. I never looked up the numbers, but he was saying how Newfoundland has a moose population of 500,000 moose, and Newfoundland's population of people is only 800,000. And that's almost a moose per person, right? And he was telling me why he didn't understand how we're only allowed to hunt so many moose, right? And I'm like thinking in the back of my mind, I was like, they won't let us hunt so many moose because they know these things are eating them for food. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think they're eating moose and anything they can get on their hands on, really.
The whole area sure sounds like a supermarket to me. No wonder that one didn't look like it was missing any meals. Shouldn't be any surprise.
Exactly, Vic. And like where I get that rotten fish smell up there, I will say Petty Harbor is a fishing village, a fishing community. I there's a possibility in the nighttime he's down there getting fish, and that's what I'm smelling. You know what I mean? He could be, because when they're down filleted and cod, he throws the leftovers right there. He just takes the fillets and throws the leftovers, right? So he could be eating that, and that's what I'm smelling up there. That's what I tried to make sense of it, anyways.
Well, one thing's for sure, there's no excuse for a dog man starving there.
No.
All that game and all those resources, yeah, definitely. The next one on deck is from Jerry Cahill. Jerry wants to know, did you feel like it was warning you or going to eat you? That window can't stop it.
I think it wanted at my dog because, like, it's never like, because we had the dog when we got the dog. He was only a puppy, and this happened probably a couple of months after. He was still almost like a little puppy. Like, we wouldn't say he was grown at the time, but I don't think he's seen him before. And he's after looking in the window since we were out in Baleen, right? And this was like a couple of years after, and like I think he just went there one night and he never seen him before, and it just was the outcome of it.
They know what they're doing. They
Yeah.
are calculated. Definitely. The next one is from Starry Night, and Starry Night wants to know, what is the best description of your dogman sighting? I hear Van Helsing and Underworld a lot.
No, I would not say, like, when I like think of like a werewolf like in a movie or something like Halloween or something, like some scary movie or something. Like the only really werewolf movie I seen a werewolf movie when I was a kid, I think it's called Ginger Snaps or something. But even like with the werewolf, like, it doesn't look like that. It looks different because everything about it so unproportionalized. Like, its top half is bigger than its bottom half, and his back legs are shorter than his front arms, and his arms are really long. It just doesn't make sense. Like in a werewolf movie, they look completely different. I like, if I seen it and I would like and didn't know of a dogman, I wouldn't say werewolf. I would just say a wolf. To me, it looks. I would compare it more to a wolf than a werewolf. It's weird.
Yeah, it's not lost on me that you said on Monday's show that you and your ex were convinced it was just a wolf until it stood up on its back legs.
Yes, because the angle it came out, like I said that day when I seen it on Baleen Lawn, its neck was where I said its neck was like almost into its body. The angle that it was coming on, you couldn't really tell that, right? It just looked normal, like a huge giant wolf, until like it got up and like I seen like it was the same thing. Its neck was fused together. That's why we thought it was just a huge wolf.
It's understandable you thought that. No one could blame you. David Seal wants to know, what makes you think they're the same? I think he's asking about why you think the first dogman you saw is the same one that followed you.
I think it's the same one because, okay, well, I wouldn't say like, okay, because I've seen him twice. I wouldn't say that. No, it's tapping, because I seen that creature and window tapping, and then when I moved, the tapping, and then I seen it again. So it's, unless it's multiple of them doing the same exact thing, which I doubt. But that's what makes me think it's the same one as the window tapping and moving over the same time all over the place and tapping continuing. So with the smaller one and the tapping, I was talking to somebody. I joined a Dogman group and I was chatting with somebody, and he seems to have a bit of experience in it. And he was telling me they often bring their their litter to you to introduce you type thing, like something about having to be the same sex or something. So like if it's a male juvenile, they bring a male to you, and so it could be the white one that brought the black one here. I don't know, but who's to say? It's hard to explain.
It's a lot to wrap your mind around. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It is. Nick Brommer wants to know, did it carry a bad stench?
When I seen it out in Gander, the 2 times I seen it out there, it didn't. No, never. That's what started. I know that's what makes me think it's the black one that's on the path, because I've never got a stench before up until like recently, and it stinks. Sometimes it stinks like rotten fish and urine, and sometimes it smells like garbage. And I remember one time I was going, because there's a graveyard right at the top of the hill. There's no houses or nothing up there, but our graveyard is right at the top of the mountains up there. And I got a couple of family members buried up there. So I went up there one day, and it's just like overwhelming smell of like feces, man. It's like feces and rotten something. Like I never smelled it before. And like I've been down here my whole life. I know the smell and I know the areas, and like the smells that I'm getting recently, it's like crazy. It's like, it has to be something.
I don't know how they do it, but it does appear that they can switch that on and switch it off. But that makes sense, though. I mean, they are predators. If they stunk that bad all the time, there's no way they'd be able to sneak up on game. Of course, you can get the advantage by being downwind, but if you stink that bad, then on a calm day, that's going to give you away still. So, like I said, I'm not sure how they can switch it on and off. Gorillas have an apocrine gland under their armpits that they can use to emit a strong, foul odor. But these things aren't gorillas, so I don't know. Maybe they have something like that. Maybe they don't.
It is possible. It's quite possible they do. I mean, like, even my neighbor noticed it one day. Like, when the boys were out working in the back for like doing renovations and stuff, all that week, we were getting that smell out there, and she even asked me if it was my like garbage bin. I checked my garbage, it was coming out of my garbage. And I don't know if I told you this, Vic, but at the beginning of the path up there, I have a friend, and he has a small child, right? And so I was out playing, and I mentioned it to him one day. I didn't say, yo, I think there's a dog man on that path. Be careful, watch your kid. But I did say to him, I ran into a big cat. And he said, there's no big cats there. And I was like, think to myself, like, obviously there's not. But like, I told him there was a big cat. And he said, oh, is there? And I said, yeah. And I said, I said, you know, when it's around, I said, it smells really bad. He said, what does it smell like, rotten fish? And I was like, yeah, what? He said, something's been lying in my backyard and it smells like rotten fish. You got the same smell as I did, and it's been lying in his backyard. So
it's awfully nice of you to try and give them a warning. It does complicate things when you can't be too specific on what you're trying to warn them about, though. It would be nice if you could be specific, but common sense tells us all why you can't.
Yeah, I do. Word travels in Newfoundland like pretty fast. That's why I didn't want to really anybody know my name here, because once somebody knows down here about what I seen and everybody will know. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, that's how it is in a lot of small towns here. Wandering Bull 369 is the next question, and he wants to know, will you put up cameras outside of your house?
Yeah, funny you asked that. I recently now I got 5 cameras. I just installed one of them. I got one that's one of them doorbell cameras. So anything runs past my front door, it'll snap a picture of it. I have 3 inside cameras. They're night vision or IR, and they're all pointed out. Well, I got one in my front room window, one in my bedroom window, and one in my kitchen window. And I have I'm waiting for the guys to finish installing the back patio again, so I can put up an outside IR camera. I'm hoping not, like I'm not hoping to catch it on camera. That's not why I put them out there. I put them out there because I'm after watching shows, especially like on YouTube, like Bigfoot shows and people using trail cams and how they says they see the IR and stay away from the IR. So I'm hoping the IR keeps them away. And actually, to be honest with you, ever since I put the cameras up, I haven't had any window tapping.
Well, that's great. Hope that continues. That goes without saying, though. Nick Brommer has the next question. He wants to know, Adam, do you think your encounters have anything to do with native spirits?
I've actually been looking into that, trying to do like research into that, because I know a couple of incidents in the States have revolved around burial sites. I know we had 3 different native tribes here. I think I do believe they're all gone extinct now. They all died out from settlers back in the day. I think the last ones died in the 1800s. They died out in the 1800s. So there could be something to that, man, because like there would be a lot of pent up energy for that. Because I mean, they owned land before we came here, and there's actually they're really super rare in the world. They're called Logan stone. We call it, like, those the local legends about all the Indians back in the day. We call it Indian head rock, and it's a Logan stone. But back in the day, whenever the wind would blow it, like would hit it, it would spin. Now this rock is like, I would say 8 meters tall. No, not, it's like 6 meters tall, but like 6 meters. It's a huge boulder. And whatever way it was sitting on top of the hill, it would just spin with the wind. Now, somebody long time ago put a rock there to stop it because everybody was worried it was going to go down the hill at some time. But there's like local people that tell you, like, the Indians used to use it as a waypoint and stuff, right? So I do believe there's something to do with like native. There has to be something to do with it because there's so much folklore with it, right?
Well, you wouldn't be the only person to have that opinion. Yeah, a lot of people have that thought, and understandably so. The evidence is out there to support that pretty well. Ian Conzel has the next question. Ian wants to know, Adam, did you feel like the dogmen were an evil nature or of an evil nature?
It's funny you say that because like when somebody, like, I'm not saying, like, I'm speaking for myself now. Somebody has experienced, like, for me at the time when I experienced something like the fright of it, you're like, oh my God, like you think it's evil, you think it's gonna get you, right? But like I said in the last video, when I heard it that day, at first I was scared, like super scared, and then it felt like it was hurt or crying. And you almost associate that with people. And I could almost associate that with what I was hearing that day. So as much as like I get scared of them, like now I do get scared of them. Trust me, I would never go into the woods purposely looking for one. I will not do that. I don't want to see one. But like, in saying that, I don't think like Vic says, they have lots of opportunities to get you. I don't think it's evil. I don't think anything. I think they're curious. Some of them can't. They're like people. So not every person in the world is evil, but there are serial killers. You know what I mean? So maybe they're just curious and like they sees all our fancy stuff and they looks at us and they're, just. I've seen. I recently watched a movie. I don't know if any of your viewers seen it. It's a Sasquatch movie, and it kind of like puts you in there with that perspective, right? And it kind of like changed my outlook on even a Dogman type thing, right? Like you get a feeling, a sense of sense of like they're smart, right? They're on our intelligence level, right? They're not just stopping some dumb creature. They're like I feel some humanity in them. I don't think they're just evil.
Yeah, there might be a form of humanity in them. A lot of time, it seems like that humanity is pretty hard to find. But
Yeah, especially when you're looking at them and they're growling at you. And I can see that, right? But like I would say like it's hard to say, Vic. To be honest with you, I like it could have got me multiple times, and if it could just walk in through my door now and get me. But
it's good you realize that. But that hasn't happened for one reason and one reason only, because they haven't wanted that to happen.
exactly.
That's the best reason possible. Donna Huff has a question for you. Donna wants to know, Adam, was there ever any Mindspeak or feelings of premonition?
No, I never got no. I had hearing people say like they had mind speak and stuff through your stories, but I never got none of that. Like that day I went like premonition was like that day when I went down to do my prospect, and I did have a bad feeling that day. But other than that, I don't really get a bad feeling before anything happens. And like when I go on the path, I get the gut feeling like that. I mean, but I never got no mind speak or like nothing like that.
Well, it doesn't happen all the time. Not every eyewitness reports a form of a premonition or a feeling of malice or anything like that. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Scott Baker has the next question for you. He wants to know, did the dogman smile at you?
Um, I, I, I when I looked at it when he was standing up, he was out of breath. And like you'd ever see like a dog when he's out of breath and he's like got that like you're smiling. He says like he's smiling. Well, I know he was out of breath from whatever crawling he was just doing, and he was up, and that's how because I noticed his teeth. That's what my eyes focused on most was his teeth. But he had his tongue out, and his tongue was really long. I don't know why. His tongue was long, and he was just panting like a dog would. Now he had that smile, like I said, like when a dog's bit out and you're looking at your dog, and you're like, oh, it's small, and he had that on him. But I wouldn't say it's like looking at me and smiling type thing.
Well, thank goodness for that, because when they do smile at you, it just makes it that much more frightening.
I don't know what I would do if it just got up, stood up, smiled at me. I would have died on the spot, man. I would just walk to him and let him take me.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm so glad it didn't do that.
Yeah, me too, Vic.
I understand. Harvest Mary Moon is the next question. She wants to know, do you think that only certain people see these dogmen? Like, for instance, certain people only see spirits?
I'll tell you what, and after the last show, a few people was after contact me. Local people, I don't know how they got my name, but local people are after contacting me, saying they seen. Well, one person told me they had experience with a black one, but most recently, somebody told me, a truck driver told me he seen one walking down the side of the road, out in Gander, same area where I seen one. This one was skinny, but somebody pointed me in the direction of a group on Facebook. So it was a trail cam picture or something somebody had taken a picture of. And when I look at it, I can see a skinny white dog. Like when I look at it, but like when I show it to other people, like they can't see it. Like I don't know if it's just me where I'm after seeing one before and I can pick it out. But I don't know. This picture that was taken was on Newfoundland. No, Newfoundland is probably an old trail cam that's probably 10 years old, and the picture was taken from the looks of the picture like yards and yards and yards away. So it's hard to really tell, anyways. But I do think some people can see them better than I don't know. It's like pictures, for example. People take pictures and they're blurry. Not talking about them being blurry, but people swear up now and they see something in the pictures. I've never seen, like, when I try to show people the picture that the trail cam one, I can see it, but other people can't. And then when other people show pictures of what they think that they see one, I can't see. You know what I mean? There's something about that. I think they mess with like cameras, to be honest with you.
That and the fact that not only do some people have a better knack for seeing things, whether it's dogmen, Sasquatch, spirits, some people, on the other hand, are just magnets and just seem to draw these things to them. So that weighs into it also. The next question up is from reptiles and rodents. They want to know, do you feel like it was a real animal or did it seem to be more paranormal?
Oh, it's definitely a physical thing. If there is anything paranormal about it, I didn't witness it. The only close thing to paranormal about it, thinking about it, was that night I seen him when he stood up. It was like I don't know if it was the lighting at the time or what, but it was like a blue glow to him. Other than that, I completely think it's just a physical thing. I never seen no eye shine to him, nothing like orange or amber or red, whatever most people describe. So I never seen none of that. And everything I experienced, like with the woodcraft, like the hearing it in the woods and the tapping on my window, like it has to be physical. I mean, it has to be. If it's spiritual, it's a side aspect to it or something. But to me, I think it's physical.
Well, some eyewitnesses swear up and down they must be purely physical. Others are convinced they're from the ether and totally paranormal. So
I think there's an in between with that. I think there's something to that they could be right with that, right?
yeah, could be. Yeah, I'm not an expert by a long shot on that.
Oh, no, neither am I, Vic. I'm I'm furthest person from an expert on this. I only goes by what I'm seeing and experiencing, right? So
yeah, all we can do is guess. And Haunted Doll, thanks for the donation. I appreciate it. The next question up is from Joyce Stone, and she wants to know, since the same dogman kept coming back to see you through the window and even tracked you to a different location to find you, do you think it felt like it had a relationship developing with you?
I've been told, like I said to you guys earlier, I when I joined that group, that Dogman group or whatever, like a couple of I've been talking to a couple of people, and the same person told me that they can bond with you. It's like they bond with you, I think. And I think back when I was a kid or something, I did something, or maybe it was my age, and it's been in my area the whole time, and I'd never noticed it, and it's been with me my whole life. Just been there, and that's why I think the black one's coming back. Like what that guy did say to me, like makes sense to me in a way, because the black one is coming and doing the same thing, and it's smaller, and I think it's a juvenile. So I think it's bringing the next one around, and I think I might have made the black one mad because I think it was doing that with my kids too. Because when I stopped doing sending my kids up there, that's when the neighbor seen it that day, my mom seen it. Like the black one actually went to my mom's house. That's the night that she seen it, right? Like shortly after. Like I can't remember if it was, like I said, I'm bad with dates, but I know I stopped that, and I think that's when the black one my mom seen visited her that night. She just calls it the cat dog. She couldn't tell if it was a cat or a dog, she said. But yeah.
You've had so many experiences with these things or that thing that no one could blame you for not being able to keep all this straight.
I should write it. I'm going to start writing down like dates and stuff that weird things happen. Well, not the window happen because I'll be writing down forever with that. But other weird things I think I'm going to start writing down, right? Keep a track to them. See if there's any pattern to it or something.
I sure hope your experiences with these guys are all in the rear view.
I hope so too. Like I said, I put them cameras up and I got no window taps for the past week. So
I hope it stays that way. That sure would be nice. That would be. Well, we're about 75 minutes in, Adam, so it's about time for us to call it. Before we do you have any closing comments you'd like to share?
Yeah, sure. I just want to let everybody know, like, just because these things or anything is out there, don't let it bother you. Just enjoy nature for what it is. I mean, pay attention to your surroundings. Always be aware, but don't let something like this ruin you the way it ruined me for a little while. I'm starting to get back together, but I'm also starting to realize how beautiful being out there in nature it is. Right. So if you're somebody that's worried about going for a walk just after having an encounter with this, the chances are you've seen it again slim to none. Like I said, I've been dealing with stuff on and off for the past 11 years. I only seen it 3 times, and I think the only reason I seen them couple of times is I put myself in a weird situation. I don't think anybody else would ever, like, it'd be like winning the lottery to see one. So just be out and do your own thing and enjoy life. Life's too short to be miserable and be afraid of something.
Yes, it is. And like I've told you countless times before already, I am so glad that you're still able to head out and go on these walks and enjoy the woods the way you do, because yeah, you have a lot of life left to live. It really would be a shame if you couldn't do that. So yeah, that's music to my ears. But having said that, Adam, thanks again so much for coming back on and answering all these questions. Of course, we really appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. I really enjoyed answering questions and cleared some of the stuff up with your viewers. I hope I cleared all your guys' questions up good. I'm usually a really anxious person and talking. I'm no good at it usually, really. So I hope I did a good job for everybody.
You did. Yeah, you should be proud of the job you did, because yeah, you knocked it out of the park. But having said that, thanks again so much for coming back on, and hope you have a great weekend.
All right, Vic, you too. Have a good
Thanks.
night.
You too. We'll see ya.
Bye bye.
If you've had a dogman encounter and would like to speak with me about it, whether in private or on the show, please go to dogmenencounters.com and submit a report. If you do that, I'll be more than happy to contact you and schedule a phone conversation with you so we can find out what happened. But having said that, thanks again so much, everyone, for listening to the show. I really appreciate it, and have a great night.